Ladies and gentlemen, happy Friday. Welcome to Finish the Story. I am your host, Keegan Ray. I'm joined here by my co-host, producer, and best friend, Mr. Trent Ludzak. How you doing, bro?
Good, man. Good.
So what you been up to? So you just finished,
Yeah, let's introduce our guest first, though.
Okay,
we don't
let's
want to
do
talk
it.
about this for
All right,
10
well,
minutes.
we are on the same side of the table, so you already know it's a motherfucking guest episode, and I'm so happy to have our guest on. Welcome to the podcast, Mr. Holden Schneider. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for having me.
Thanks,
Thank
man.
you, Trent, for prioritizing me over Dune.
Yeah, no, it's hard to do. It's very difficult for me.
It's an honor, truthfully. It's never been done before. I doubt it'll happen again.
No, never again. And it's only because there's cameras here, and I want to seem like a good person.
Yeah. How many Dune costumes do you think were at Dragon Con this year?
Oh my God, it's got to be a bazillion.
Yeah.
I think you were spot on with. There's going to be a billion Lady Jessicas this Halloween because it's just put drawing on your face and wear a black robe.
Very easy.
It's the easiest one.
Well, and yeah. And then you're going to have that new one that comes out with the Bene Gesserit on HBO, so you're going to have a lot of that.
That's in November.
And Squid Games 2 is coming out. That's going to be another big costume one.
That's a good one because you can have such a group and you can meet. I saw
it's literally just jumpsuits.
I saw
Wait,
videos of people.
Squid Games, the next season of it.
I still didn't
the
see
show
the first one.
and the game show. Because Netflix made a real game show out of it.
I didn't watch the game show.
No, who would?
It's like, no. The game is not having insurance in the world. That's the real Squid Games. Any costume, though, where you can meet up and have a bunch of you, like Mandalorians, you have the people from Squid Games, like that's always fun. Like if you go to a con and you can meet
Go
up.
vintage with Power Rangers.
Deadpools. It makes sense for there to be that many of you. I saw that a bunch of people dressed up as that Australian breakdancer, and we're just having breakdancing.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, that's fun. Like one Halloween I went as Jesus, and I had so much fun because there's so many taglines. You know what I mean? There's so much that you can pull from. I had a Life water bottle full of red wine. I was like walking around. People were just coming up and confessing to me and being like, bless me. It was fun.
Dude.
I actually did see a clip of a dude from Dragon Con. I don't remember who posted it. Some comedian. We probably all know. I don't remember who it was, though. There's a dude walking around with just a clear water bottle, holding it at the bottom. He had like Kool-Aid powder or something in there. And he was just walking around pouring water in it, turning it red. And every time, it was like a hypercut of him doing it 4 times. Every time, every virgin or his mother was like, how'd he do that? That's crazy. I was like, there's Kool-Aid, guys. We've had this technology since the 40s.
That is pretty
This
good,
has
though, to
been
have
a
the
thing.
Kool-Aid. So what'd you think about the book? What's your takeaway from Doom?
Dude, I think you're right about it. Basically, the way that I would, I guess, sum it up is the golden path is the way that humanity survives the evolution of humanity to outside of time and space as we know it.
Damn. I didn't know you were going that deep with it. I like that.
That's the easiest way to put it that I've come up with.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, that's very
Holden,
compact.
did that make any sense to you at all?
I haven't read the book, so you're essentially saying it's an allegory for acid, right? Yeah, I don't
Yeah, kind of.
More mushrooms.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say more mushrooms.
Oh, you know what?
Frank Herbert was a big mushrooms guy.
Mushroom head, dude.
The worms kind of do look like...
yeah.
Okay.
And he had the worms for the casking to grow mushrooms and stuff. Yeah.
Okay,
So
that's very fun.
Also,
Seems
the
like
color blue.
Yeah. Color blue's real big, and then the blue eyes, the blue and the psilocybin mushrooms. A lot of similarities.
Okay. That sounds like something. Do you guys hear that the Bible is also an allegory? Or sorry, Jesus through the Bible is an allegory for mushrooms as well?
Yeah, some guy wrote a book about it.
So how similar is Dune and the Bible?
Not that similar. I mean, it's the allegory that is basically the Bible also. It's basically the same story, but I would say it's not that similar.
Makes a better movie?
Yeah.
The
It
Bible
does have an Old Testament, though. It does have that going
does.
for it.
It
which
really
is cool,
does,
because
yeah.
the first couple of books are like referenced throughout the whole series as like ancient history.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
like,
really fun.
And you see how the story is manipulated through time.
So the first few books is just prologue, and then that's actually very fun.
Yeah. Who you think the main character is, you don't even realize until like 4 books in. You're like, holy shit, I think this dude is the main character.
One of you guys should teach me how to read so I can enjoy this.
You can listen.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
It has
I
audio?
listen. Yeah. And the dude is on every book. This one guy, so it's like you spend
That's fun.
Hours and hours and hours with this
I like when multiple books have the same author because then I can like pick up on their vocal cadence.
Yeah.
Like, have you guys read or listened to Sam Tallent's book?
Yeah.
My favorite and least favorite part about it is how comedians narrate every chapter,
Mm-hmm.
different comedians.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that because it drove me crazy.
Dude.
Once you get into somebody, you're like, oh, I'm
I agree.
vibing with somebody. It's like Burt Kreischer's next.
Oh,
You're like,
that's what I
God
was gonna
damn
say.
it.
I was gonna say it was so much fun up until the Burt Kreischer's chapter. Because wait, Trent, have you listened to it?
No, I analog read
Yeah.
half of it, and then I got really sad.
Dude, that's fair. Listening to it's a little bit more fun because you can connect with the comedians.
Yeah.
But for Burt Kreischer's chapter, I shit you not, he messes up like a million words. They leave it in the entire time, and he'll just try again. Like he
It's
is the
crazy.
longest
Dude,
chapter,
it's
not
crazy.
by content.
He's
Dude.
trying again. You're like, edit this out.
Like they never edit it down. He's just literally messing up like words, syllables, and just
Yeah.
trying again.
I will say, Sam Talent had me crying in my car. Like
Dude.
driving home by
Dude,
myself,
bro.
just crying.
I was driving home at a point in time when I probably shouldn't have been.
Oh, no.
And a semi
man.
truck pulls up on the side. I was like, I need to take a break.
Yeah.
I can't finish this while I'm on the road.
Yeah.
Dude.
So,
It's crazy how sad that book is so early.
yeah, dude.
Like
It's
right like off the rip. It's like, oh, this
Yeah.
is a sad man just looking for cocaine town to town.
Yeah.
Yeah, you say that. I thought I was picturing it through the eyes of, I know it's fictionalized. I was imagining the headliner was Ron White, and I was like, oh, this is fun. He's going to make it.
Dude,
I was
my
like, I want to
favorite.
open up for a duck in old VFWs gambling on him. That
And
sounds fun.
What we're talking about is Running the Light by Sam Talent. That book
Great
is
book.
amazing. But
Amazing
when they're
book.
talking about where the duck's shitting,
That yeah.
Dude.
I made it through that part.
that's a rough go.
Yeah.
But it's like, I mean, you do those horror gigs, though. You
Yeah.
do some nightmare gigs.
I've done a couple nightmare gigs similar to that.
What's the worst gig you've ever done?
Dude, it was for a mental health benefit.
That's not good.
Not a good starting line.
Dude, it was for a mental health benefit.
It's
and
crazy how
it was
some
so
people
bad.
think they want comedy and they don't want comedy.
No.
That was somebody who's never seen. They know the idea of comedy.
Yeah.
To give you an idea of just how shitty the gig was, there was about 15 of us.
You're like, someone killed himself.
The show was
Sorry.
opened and closed with a very serious. It was opened with an in memoriam,
Good.
Oh my god.
and it was closed with like a 15-minute non-rehearsed, like TED talk about mental health and everything. Not a single noise was made for this 15 minutes, except for when, I swear to God, the host of the event. I'm not going to say who, but you guys, maybe off stage, I'll tell you. The funniest thing that happened all night. The show was already closed. He's doing this wrap up, and the host leans over to me as this guy's like 7 minutes in doing the most serious talk I've ever heard about mental health and suicide. Host just leans over and is like, this dude's bombing.
Oh,
And I start
no.
dying laughing. I literally had to leave. I was like, God, it was so embarrassing. And then afterwards, it became the most fun hang ever because they just had a fire pit outside. All the audience left. So us comedians were just having our own mental health awareness kickback,
Yeah.
drinking around a fire.
By the way, I want to know who this is. If I mute your mic for a second, will you say it?
He also hosts and runs the alley stage.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I don't. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
That way,
I've
other
done
people can
anytime-
know, and I don't need to say.
Yeah.
it.
Anytime I've done any benefits or something, they're not. It's never
No.
great.
No, there's very few. I have a buddy who is actually working on one, touring it. Firefighters. Here's the thing, like firefighters,
that's
cops,
a good. Yes.
soldiers,
Yeah, they
stuff
like
like
that
that.
That
Those
is-
are people who are looking for
And they're
comedy.
hanging out in a firehouse all
Yeah.
day. They
yeah,
don't
they're
have
pretty
shit
much.
to do,
They're
bro.
pretty much talking to
That's a
comedians all day.
great idea. Holy
It really
shit.
is.
Those are the kind of benefits that you want to do.
Uh-huh. I'm into that. We did a lot of like things for the Humane Society where people would bring dogs and we
Bro, animal people are tough.
bro.
Animal,
Well, you
animal
think
people
you want dogs?
are rough.
You're like, oh, dogs will come, we'll adopt them.
Nice.
No. Now you have dogs that don't know how to behave at the comedy show.
Yep.
It's not great.
I
They're
mean,
barking. You're like, I did
didn't-
this to myself.
didn't Nick Murphy get like banned from the fetch shows because he called a German Shepherd a Nazi dog?
Was he wrong?
No, he was totally correct
I mean,
and probably
history
killing.
is
But
history.
one person
Yeah.
got upset because their dog got roast, and apparently it happens a lot at those like dog park shows. People roast the dogs, and the owners will like put in formal
That's
complaints.
That's
That's
hilarious, dude. I did that show one time. It was rough.
Who
It was. I just was eating.
How many
dick.
times can we do
was
this
it? Was that a
joke in
pun?
one
Did you even do that one on
podcast?
purpose?
It was bad, dude.
That's
And
so
there's a
funny.
train that goes by that show too.
Yeah.
So in the middle of bombing and dogs running in front of you, a train goes by. You're like, I am fighting uphill, and you're like, I'm pretty sure my car got broken into. Like,
Yeah.
this is I'm lose.
There was one time at Alley Stage, which another train goes by there pretty frequently.
I don't miss that.
For whatever reason,
God, I don't miss that.
I don't
Fuck
know
the train.
why, but Nick Tigas got bumped for a handful of spots, and then a train went by like right at the start of his set. And I was like, was he timing the train schedule? I genuinely, because he riffed on it and murdered. And I was like, did he actually know the train schedule?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a
'Cause if
very
anyone would,
autistic
it's Nick.
thing to know.
Yeah, as soon as he heard the train, he's like, "Oh, do I have something for this?" It's like when you ask somebody in the crowd, like, "What do you do for a living?" "I'm a nurse." Cha-ching.
Yeah.
About to get. Yeah, dude. Speaking of nurses, I had no idea. So in my house, my mother-in-law's been here helping us with the kids, and they've been watching Grey's Anatomy. I had no idea that this show is still ongoing. And
It's
Oh,
there's-
yeah.
ongoing?
Yeah.
bro,
It's one of the longest soap
still
operas.
going on.
What?
There's over 20 seasons, 20-something episodes a season. Insanity. I had no idea. It's the Sharknado of like
Yeah.
of
It's like
cheesy
Law and
rom-
Order in the sense that they only have to keep around a handful of established cast members, and then they'll just slowly fade them out as they do other shit, or they make too much money and they have to leave, and they'll just start
Crazy.
slowly replacing them, building them
Yeah.
up.
And I gotta say, man, it's weird that women are fascinated with the most gruesome shit, dude. It's
Yeah.
the
Oh, yeah.
saddest shit possible.
And all the crime shows.
I'm just sitting there
Yeah.
feeding a baby, and they're talking about like a kid dying of cancer on the TV. I'm like,
Yeah.
why
Like,
do
why?
y'all
Like,
watch this?
See, I would like House,
This is
but that's
bumming me
that's
out.
because he's like a sociopath and sadistic and funny about it.
Yeah.
Like Grey's Anatomy, there's just sad stuff going
Yeah,
on.
real sad stuff, and
nobody
then
sad
super
stuff.
horny stuff where you watch it for like 10 minutes. You're like, dude, this guy's sexually harassing everyone at work. This is not cute. This guy would go to jail. This is crazy.
Yeah, you're like, I'm not allowed to do that. I've tried.
It's an alternate reality where Me Too does not exist.
I mean, yeah, going back, I just can't. I got really disappointed by Mr. Robot, so I'm going back in time. I'm watching The Wire again. I'm like,
Hell
dude,
yeah.
I got to cleanse my
Wire
palate.
is, I need to rewatch The Wire. I watched The
It's so
Wire
good.
as a child.
It's
Whoa.
so
Because,
good.
well, I was from Baltimore, so I was like, let me
Wow.
learn about the neighborhood.
Yeah, you're like, let me get some culture.
Dude, I love that on The Wire, it's like the technology is so dated, so they still
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
payphones, pagers. They're talking about text messages. They're like, my kid does that. It's fucking great.
I mean, to this day, most of what I know about New Jersey is from The Sopranos.
Dude, I just had to cleanse my palate. Mr. Robot
Yeah.
pissed me off so bad. It was so terrible.
And like,
Modern TV sucks.
and the
dick.
Wire's only what, like 4 or 5 seasons, so it's not like a super long show.
Yeah, old TV did it right, where they would have a set narrative, a
Yep.
handful, maybe 2 or 3 filler episodes a season that were still required to watch. Like now, everything was like 20 episodes, fill it, run it till we kill it.
Yeah.
Run
it's-
it till everybody hates it.
Yeah, run it until people can't stand
Like
it.
I wish Walking Dead, like
Oh
just
my
actually
God.
kept to something, just because I got so like bored. I was like, I don't even know what I'm watching anymore.
Yeah. Walking Dead really fucking. It got too big. It got too
I
big for
agree.
itself.
It was my
just-
favorite show for forever.
Yeah, it got too big and just lost it. It's, it's the same thing with weeds. It just loses its way. Where you're like, what? This show is not even the same thing anymore.
I never got into either of those, really.
I watched the first season of Walking Dead.
Yeah,
First one was probably the best one. Season 3 was my favorite, but number 1 is like renowned as being
I lose
the
attention
best.
really quick. There's so many shows that have just The Leftovers on HBO was a great show that just completely fucking. You're like, what? Mindhunter.
Yeah.
We never got a third season of that.
Yeah.
Because people got in an argument.
I mean-
You're like, God
I
damn.
mean, Game of Thrones is like the giant
Yes.
that fell the hardest.
Yes, dude.
All at once too. Most
Yeah.
of them flame out over at least a season or two. Like, and it was slowing down, but they lost everything after the second episode of the last season.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there was like one awesome battle episode in the last season,
That
and
you couldn't
other,
see it all.
and then the last episode was like such a just nightmarishly badly done. Like, here's the thing. I'm not smarter than them. I'm not more into this fantasy thing to like figure. I don't know.
Yeah, but the pacing was off.
I don't know how it should have ended,
Right.
but it was in no way felt appropriate or satisfying.
Yeah.
The way that they ended it.
Yeah, to just ex
I
machina
love that.
all the dragons out.
Yeah.
It was
You
like
just
that
said
doesn't.
it was in no way appropriate. It has shell shocked me to where I won't even get into House of Dragons because I just don't trust it.
House of Dragon was actually pretty good.
I just don't
The
trust
first
it.
season was.
I heard the second season. I finished.
I
the
have
I'm
first
not ready
season.
to love again.
I haven't seen the second season. I think they kind of tricked people with it because I kind of agree with you. The first season was set up that it kind of couldn't fail. It was so fast paced. It's kind of like just a prologue season.
Yeah,
like you're
everything's
just kind of
happening.
getting establishing lore about the families and the dynamics within the family. And then like there's 2 or 3 episodes where it's actually modern time and it's like, all right, this is the storyline you're actually following.
Yeah.
And they're all grown up and they switch the actors. That was actually something that took me out of it too. They switched some actors and not some of them for their age gaps. Because
Yeah.
they'll jump 20
Yeah.
years, but
That
the
throws
uncle's
me
the
off.
same age, but the kids are all now 40. And I was like,
Yeah.
I
they
hate
weren't
that.
20 back then.
Yeah, I hate that. I hate when they change an actor and then no, it's never addressed.
Yeah, why
You're
not?
like, what the fuck?
Instead of
This is
getting
Mandala effect.
instead of getting an 8-year-old and a 40-year-old, why don't you get a 25-year-old, edit them younger, and then edit them a little bit older? Like that's so much easier.
That's somebody looking at a budget, just going, nah. That would mean I don't get to buy a boat. Like, fuck that, dude. Hell no. What? Do you think I've ripped off this many people? I'm going to stop now? Yeah, TV's important,
I
dude.
can't, yeah, without that, I can't afford to put the pool on the boat.
Yeah.
And I need the pool on the boat.
I'm
Dude,
not
I
gonna
saw
get
somebody in a
shitty chlorine
Bentley
pool.
boat the other day.
How else am I going to swim if I don't have a pool on my boat?
That's crazy. I thought about that on mushrooms on the cruise. I was like, dude, we're in a pool in the ocean, like on a boat in the ocean. I was like, I got to quit thinking about this. Like, it's freaking me out.
Let me ask you this: if they on a cruise, if they had like a little dragging pool in the ocean, like it was just you dock and they'll just put out a pool in the ocean that's like safe to hang out in, would you do it? Because that
No.
would still kind of suss me out.
No.
No way. The ocean scares the fuck out of me.
The
Really?
ocean is the scariest place.
The open ocean, dude, that
The-
shit is so scary. Like when you're on the cruise ship and we had a balcony and you're looking out at just darkness, and I was
Yeah.
thinking about people that are like on a raft.
yeah.
That's valid.
I might die of a heart attack because I just would panic.
I kind of had that feeling on a. I got seasick, but the only thing that kept me not from like puking was the paranoia of we're 6 hours from land.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
we
That's
were
terrifying.
We were deep sea fishing in Bermuda.
No.
Don't
Yeah,
do that.
dude.
Dude.
That's specifically where you shouldn't
Yeah.
do that.
Bermuda's
You're
beautiful.
like on a Netflix documentary. You're like, oh,
Dude,
shit.
we literally caught like 500 pounds worth of tuna.
Yeah.
Like most of them, like 50
That
to 60
does rule,
pounds.
though.
I caught an 80 pounder.
Oh, that
Or it was
rules.
78.
Have you been deep sea fishing?
Never.
Oh, it's awesome.
It's awesome.
I've heard it's awesome.
It's
but I
literally
just
just-
never-
It's just a pregame. Everyone's drinking, having fun, and it was like, oh, we got whose turn is it?
Yep.
Go,
Yeah,
and then you
you go
work out
battle.
for 30 to 40 minutes, depending on how big the fish is.
Jesus,
you're done.
that long?
Dog, I had so much fun, and then I realized we were just catching the bait. Like, dude, I was like, this rules. Like, look at all
Like-
the fish we're catching. The guy
Yeah.
was like, no, dude, that's just the bait that we're going to use to go catch these big-ass fish. And you go way out there. But, yeah, you got to wrestle those things down. It's like a workout.
Damn.
Yeah, and you have to do it the right way. The reason it takes so long is because you literally have to. You're just dragging them as long as you can, and then when it stops ripping, that means all right, he's too tired to keep ripping. So you pull it, then he'll rip a little bit because he freaks out. You stop, let him do it again. So you're literally just letting him run out as far as he can until he gets tired, then reeling him in. Because if you don't, you'll literally just strain muscles in your arm because he'll beat you every time.
Whoa.
Yeah. It's intense. And when you're not doing
I don't
that,
know
you're
if-
just hanging out drinking.
I don't know if fighting a fish sounds fun.
Oh, dude, it's
You get real primal real quick.
You-
'Cause
for
all
real.
of a sudden you're
Dude.
like, oh, you don't want to come up here?
It's-
Fuck you, fish.
it sobers you up so fast
Yeah.
too.
I bet.
As soon as you catch the fish and you go to sit back down, you're like, I am
Also,
hammered.
it's like golf because there's so many people on the boat, including usually like a boat hand whose job it is to like give you
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
pointers.
To
Make
make
sure
sure
you
nobody
don't die.
falls in.
There's so
Yeah,
many cooks
exactly.
in the kitchen. They're just screaming different feedback, and I was like, "No, you're doing it wrong. Do it like this. You got to put your waist into it." And I was
Yeah.
like, "Let me have fun, guys."
Dude, I also was Googling, can you drink on Dramamine? That was,
Yo, dude, everyone Googles that.
Everybody
and
Googles it.
The short answer is yes. On the box, the answer is no.
yeah.
Don't look at the box.
I mean, one of the
Don't look at
guys
the
that was
box.
on the book or on the boat was like, I mean, pussy. He was like, you're also not supposed to take more than 2 pain pills.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
I like using. I
He's
don't like
how
the
much does that
Dramamine.
rock?
I don't like using the Dramamine because we start so early anyway that
Yeah.
I usually haven't eaten and it will upset my stomach. Have you used those wristbands before that just slow your blood flow?
Yep.
Those are sick. I like those.
Dude, you do have to get up so early. Little John's dad didn't make it. He drank the night before,
Yeah.
and he paid for the whole thing. And he was like, "Get the fuck out of my bedroom." Like, we're like, "Dude, you're not coming." He's like, "Nope," because nothing's worse than being hungover on a boat.
oh my god.
Well, yeah, but then you just start drinking. Like you
Nah.
just kick off.
Yeah, or you get super sick. Because one of the
Yeah.
guys that we went with got really sick. Like,
It-
I
yeah.
didn't get that seasick, but watching him, I was like, "Oh fuck, he's miserable." Like,
That
he
was-
couldn't stop throwing up.
The only time, like I was seasick, I could feel it, but drinking and catching fish would sober me up from it. As soon as the fish got in the boat, every single time I was like, all right, I've used enough energy for the entire day. I need to go puke. Every single time. Fish in the boat. All right, the deckhand's fucking smacking his head a little bit
Yeah.
just so he'd stop flopping. I was like, all right, they got this settled. I'll be over here, guys.
Yeah.
I think that if you're gonna wrestle that fish into the boat, it's your responsibility to put that bitch down.
Yeah.
I
You gotta club
think-
I agree with you. I offered. He said no. It's a liability thing.
Yeah, definitely a liability. You can't be clubbing.
Because he actually missed
break
one
your
time.
foot.
He missed, fucking jacked a dude in the leg once. He hit it
fuck.
too
I
hard
bet
one
that
time,
hurts.
and then it jumped right as he did it. And this one was like, it was like a swordfish. This one wasn't a tuna, so it like sliced up another dude's leg because it jumped
Oh,
into
Jesus.
him as
Yeah.
he hit it.
And if you
So it
get
just
sliced
launched.
out there, you're so far. That's what I didn't like about
Mhm.
it. Like, I know it's right in the name, deep sea fishing, but I did not. I was like, damn, you can't even see the land. Like,
No.
we are fucking way
That would
out
that
here.
would fucking.
And then at the
I couldn't
end-
do it.
It was like they started talking amongst themselves, and it was like we were looking over and you're watching the storm roll in,
Mhm.
and then watching the captain and all the people get fucking panicky was not fun because we were
Oh,
hauling ass
no.
in, and
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like, yo, everybody got real serious really quick.
Yeah.
Like somebody looked down at the radar and was like, hey.
That's like hearing a pilot's voice crack during an
Oh, yeah.
announcement.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
What's going on up there, guys?
Or when you see the flight attendants go and sit down, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
fuck.
Yeah. Once you see a flight attendant strap in, you're like,
oh, fuck.
"Can I have a bigger seatbelt?"
have you guys had any nightmare flights? Because on that topic,
Yeah.
I'll never fly Frontier again.
I've learned that lesson, brother.
I've learned it
Yeah.
like 3 times.
The yellow taxi.
And this
of
was the
sky,
second
dude.
to last time. But it was whatever the last hurricane was, like last August.
Oh, no.
I was going to Baltimore for a comedy festival, and we got delayed like 2 hours because of the hurricane. And then they finally land, they board us, and the pilot comes over and says, sorry for the delay, but now the hurricane's actually behind us, so we're going to have an extra 78 miles an hour of tailwind. So we're actually going to get there an hour early. And then Mike cuts off and he says, it's going to be bumpy as shit, though. And that,
no.
you guys really need this $28. I could have waited till tomorrow.
Yeah, I would have just
Yeah.
did a standby. Oh, my God.
And
That's
he was
crazy.
not wrong. It was
Yeah.
the most jacked flight I had ever been on.
Oh, that's terrifying. I don't like
Yeah.
that.
One time I was on a small flight out of Waco, and it was just stormy. You know, it was after some stuff happened involving fire. You don't need to know about that.
Yeah, I was about to say. All right. What
No,
are you doing out there?
dude, it was crazy. It was the scariest, like bumpy, lightning all over the place flight I've ever
Oh, the
been
lightning
on.
trips me out.
Bumpy as hell the whole like hour and a half or whatever. It wasn't a very long flight, but there was this kid, like 8 years old, playing Five Nights at Freddy's on a tablet with headphones in. I'm like, is this not scary enough for you? What is happening?
This little demon has no soul.
I was like, that's the Omen kid.
That's so funny.
I was on a plane one time and it was fucking bad turbulence and the lady next to me was praying and it was making me so anxious, dude. She was a Spanish lady and she was praying like for like doing the whole thing. I was like, dude, I wasn't scared until you're that scared. It's making me scared. I was like, stop it. And it's like this one guy was like, it is what it is. I was like, could
Yeah.
you please stop saying that,
Dude,
dude?
feeling scared on a plane is a different kind of scared.
Because you just feel trapped.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do.
You have no control of the situation.
And you're going to die in the worst way because if you do, I don't know what anybody believes, but let's say that reincarnation is real and you do take the energy from this life into your next life, that is the most terrifying way to come out of this earth. Right. Or out of this realm, like it's just screaming on the way down. Just looking out a window, just seeing the land coming.
I think that if you could just like keep yourself in denial until the last moment, it wouldn't be bad because I feel like it'd go quick. Like if you hit the ground going fast, I feel like the way that you die is that those seatbelts cut everybody in half at the same time.
The terrifying lead up of people screaming.
That's the scary part.
But if you had noise cancellation headphones and you were playing Little Freddy
playing Five Nights at Freddy's, you might be okay actually.
Yeah, not good. I don't like smaller planes. That shit trips me out.
I actually really enjoy smaller planes when they're like not the super small ones that are like a 4-person plane, but if it's like a 15-person plane, those are really nice.
Oh, see, I've never been in a
like I accidentally I missed a flight leaving here, also going to Baltimore for a music festival, and I missed that flight. And the only other way to get where I was going, I was gonna get picked up there and driven to Pennsylvania, and the only way to get where I was going was to fly instead to Philly and then hop a 20-minute flight to another airport in Pennsylvania.
Okay. Yeah.
And it was like a 30-person jet, but there was 4 of us, so we all had our own like 15 feet of space.
That rules.
And it was amazing, but it was laid out like a commercial jet. Like all the seats were still set up like in twos.
No-fly.
You would just have literally 20 feet of legroom. And it sounds really cool on paper. Yeah. They didn't change the trays. So the trays were 20 feet in front of you. So and they didn't conceptualize that in the slightest. Or they just didn't think it mattered because they only use it for like very short flights.
I feel like
I would be annoying about it where I would stand up, walk over, set my cup down, walk back to my seat, sit down.
Just sitting on the floor typing on your laptop.
Dude, we made so my father-in-law came into town and he's gluten-free, so they made him some gluten-free edibles, and he's like, oh, I ate 7 of those muffins yesterday. I was like, dude, no way. He's like, yeah, they don't really affect me like that. Then he went to the Atlanta airport and missed his flight. I was like, coincidence? I think not.
Nope.
Dude, it's so, and he was like, they just changed the flight. And I was
do.
Like, dude,
that's what happened to me.
That's
I literally got
baby.
there an hour and a half early, and I was like, time to check in. I check in, and it says, no, something's gone wrong. Check with the clerk. And I go to the clerk, and it's like, oh, yeah, enough people checked in that they just left. I was like, what?
Yeah.
I still have an hour and a half before we're supposed to leave. And it was like, yeah, but enough of them were there at the gate ready to go, so they just
I didn't
left.
know that they could do that.
Bro, they're just doing whatever
Frontier
they
does.
want.
Nah, I don't fly.
Whatever they want.
I have stopped flying Frontier
that was
since
third strike.
They stranded me in Mexico for an extra day.
What?
And then they stranded me, or they tried to strand me in Orlando until my mother got involved. We got that white lady energy in there.
Had to tag somebody in.
Got
dude.
up the customer service
customer
chain.
service desk.
Yeah, you walk up to the front desk and just hand her a phone like you're in trouble.
Well, no, she wasn't, bro. She wasn't there. She just got herself through the entire She got herself to apparently the boss lady of customer service at Frontier.
That's unheard of.
And got
I didn't know they had one of those.
No, dude. I thought it was just
I've never gotten past the QR code.
She got to that late, dude, and it was crazy because basically they were like, well, we canceled. Basically, they fucked up, so I didn't have a flight out of Mexico. They put me up in a hotel. The next day, they fly me to my layover in Orlando. And I get to Orlando, and they're like, we're not responsible for getting you the rest of the way back. And I was like, really? Really?
You're like, I think that's your only service.
Yeah. So my mom got up to the top customer service lady because they were saying there are physically no flights. There are no flights.
Can I speak to your manager?
9:30
to
dude,
Miss Frontier.
Dude, I talked to that lady. They handed me a ticket begrudgingly. I got on a flight that was fucking 8 people on that bitch. I'm like, oh, there's no flights. Yeah. I think a whole front desk crew got fired over that.
They don't fire people at Frontier.
Yeah, you're
Bro,
right.
They just make them hate their life 20% more.
They're like the Catholic Church. They just transfer them to a different place.
To a different parish.
I literally think that's true. I think customer service airport staff and food service all operate the same way. They're not going to fire you. They're going to make you quit.
Yeah.
Dude, he Home Aloned it. Like, literally was at the wrong gate, and Home Alone, like, ran across the airport.
so
and then the
funny.
lady closed the door, and he's like, no.
Yeah.
But it was when he called, he was so distraught, and we're all like, yeah, welcome to the Atlanta airport, where they just change shit on a whim for no reason.
Yep.
It's crazy.
I show up the day before usually.
Honestly, I'm a pretty easy traveler. The only time I've ever been like sussed out or freaked out, it wasn't because of anything that happened. It was a clear flight. It was because the people I was with, I knew were doing weird things. Like, I was 100% sober at the time.
I feel like you're gonna have to define weird a little bit.
Weird as in, weird as in, I was aware that we were bringing edibles overseas, internationally.
I was saying, in the United States, I think you can get away with it.
You can't. They don't have weed dogs here, which was their concern. It was like, oh, we're gonna be fine. We're going through security. They don't have weed dogs here. We'll get over. The second we land where we're going, dog comes over to us.
Of course.
And I was like, and they were friendly about it. He was like, hey guys, is there any reason Joshua, that was the dog's name, is there any reason Joshua is being so friendly with you guys right now? And the people we were with, it was like, he was just coy about it. He was like, oh yeah,
I'm covered in cat hair.
We flew from Atlanta. We smoked a big joint in the parking lot. They probably still smell it on us. And it was like, okay, we're going to have to go through your bag though. Dude, I shit you not. 20, maybe 30 pounds of homemade edibles.
Jesus.
In a country where weed is more, weed paraphernalia is more illegal than the weed.
What kind of edible are we talking about?
Candies and cookies. Literally Ziploc baggies of them too.
Oh my God, dude.
Dude.
And here's how I know I'm divinely protected.
Were they in tie-dye T-shirts?
We were. All of us were. But I was in the process of getting a drug charge thrown away. Yep. So I was 100% sober this entire time.
Yeah.
Literally, they're popping candies on the plane. We get there. They're high out of their mind. So I'm paranoid, and they're chilling.
Yeah.
But which is weird because they were the ones
That's
high.
That's really weird.
And there was like, why'd you guys, what are all these candies? And we played it off. I was like, oh, we know taxes here are pretty crazy. We just wanted to bring our own stuff. And then he literally points at these, like, have you seen those, like, rolled, like, Ferrero cookies, whatever they are, like the wafer ones?
Yeah.
He was like, oh, I love those. And he was like, literally, because he's high out of his mind, he was like, oh, would you like a couple? And it was like, no sweat. We brought enough for the whole gang.
Bro.
And if he wasn't on a diet, he was going to jail the second the lid opened.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. As soon as you open that Tupperware.
We got out of it, but, dude, weed where we were is so illegal that they physically don't have raw papers. There's no weed paraphernalia at all because weed's so illegal. Any paraphernalia at all is a felony.
See, I don't even like that because then it's like if I do smoke weed in that country, as soon as I get high, I would be so scared.
Oh, I changed the whole game in that country because they were literally they were smoking out of tinfoil blunts because they.
Oh, what?
And
that's really good for your lungs.
I put them on to socket gravity bongs. Game changer in the community.
Yeah.
What country are we talking about?
I don't want to say because I go. Well, it's fine at this point.
It's
Bermuda. It doesn't matter.
Jesus Christ, you in Bermuda?
Cocaine is more legal in Bermuda than fucking weed is. Because at least if you have a cocaine spoon, that's not a felony. If you have a thing of raw paper, if you have an individual paper, a cigarette rolling paper, a zigzag, you're going to jail.
Yeah.
It's so illegal there, it's ridiculous. So the only way to get it there, no one flies it in because of how illegal it is. Your whole timeline's going to jail. Everyone grows it, and it's dog shit.
Yeah.
It literally smells and tastes like oranges.
Yeah. It's a big thing because when, like, Fish and those jam bands, they do, like, these resort shows, like, down in Mexico. Dude, every time there's somebody getting fucking popped in a foreign country.
Of course.
Which is super silly because you're at the source.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know, man. Maybe just, you can find it there, you know? Yeah. Like, just flying with it is just, it's too sketchy. I just get so nervous because it's like, yeah, you could just be that person. You could be that guy. Like, and I've flown with stuff that I didn't know I had. I, like, opened up my carry-on and was like, God damn it, I got 3 pins in here. Like,
dude,
fuck.
I've done that before. Or pens are easy because, like, one, with deltas and everything, there's accountable deniability. And two, they literally look like pens. They don't know what that is.
I feel like too. This is my theory: is when you're walking through and you're talking to a TSA agent, like, and you have like a Tupperware full of like brownies or whatever, you have a conversation before a police officer gets involved. And I feel like how you respond to it.
Oh, yeah, it's a confidence thing.
Yeah, if you're just like, hey, if he's like, what is this? You could be like, I didn't know I couldn't bring food. Just throw it away. You know what I'm saying? Just like, hey, I don't care. If you start acting weird and they call the police, I feel like that's where you get fucked.
It is. That's
like, because I've also seen people get combative with them. I mean, how many people just like have guns on them? And
I
shit?
have.
You
I'm
ever
gonna be
seen
real.
the thing where they show the fucking what they've confiscated.
I've gotten combative just out of inconsistencies because I flew to Austin, and from Austin flew to Vegas, and as I was leaving Vegas, in my wallet I had like a credit card knife. It was just a credit card that folds into. The whole thing's made out of plastic, except the edge is metal and it has a plastic.
So
point.
like a shiv, like you
essentially. I literally made
the kind of knife that you would bring if you were like trying to sneak it on somewhere.
I made it through like 8 security checkpoints before
took
this
my box
instance,
cutter.
and then they confiscated at the last one. I was like, dude, just throw it away. But that's obnoxious.
Yeah.
Like, what damage am I going to do with it? I've been on 6 planes with it by mistake. I literally said if I wanted to stab somebody, I would, but just throw it away.
Yeah.
I was like, they have pens on the plane.
Yeah.
Which was, fun
Flying
fact,
is a
wrong
nightmare.
answer.
Yeah.
to say at the Vegas
Spoiler
airport
alert,
at 2 a.m.
Probably
they
don't say that.
like that.
Yeah.
They also don't like when you refuse to go through the X-ray machine, because I've done that and that does not go over well.
Yeah.
I just
because
don't wanna
they
go
have to
through.
work more.
Yeah, they got.
That's why they don't like it.
Well, it was
They
just
gotta
like,
touch
dude,
your
just
dick.
bring that pedophile out from the back
Yeah.
and come pat me down.
Yeah.
Like, what are we talking about?
It's fully your right to refuse it, but that means they have to work 5% more for the next 2
But my whole thing is like, dude, when you go to the dentist's office, they put you in like a fucking bulletproof vest. Everybody runs out of the room and like presses a button. I'm like, this guy just stands here all day next to this machine. You're a fucking idiot. Like, what the fuck are, like, that's crazy to just stand next to.
To be fair, most TSA agents probably don't have brain cells that are worth saving.
I mean, dude, when you hear that thing go off, you're like, there's no way that's good for you to stand next to that thing all day. Fuck that.
I have a theory that a lot of them are just fakes. Because I've been through them before, and I swear the machine wasn't even turned on.
That would be hilarious.
That could be also true that
it
somebody
broke
just
5 years
didn't
ago.
know.
Yeah. Like, I swear.
We don't have the funding. Yeah.
He doesn't know how to turn it on. Nobody knows how to turn it on.
The guy who knows how to turn it on quit 6 years ago.
That guy got fired for groping a child. You're like, we don't know, dude. Daryl got fucking fired. It's like the pyramids. Nobody knows how it works.
Yeah, it's like that machine where you got to stand like the peeping Tom machine.
Yeah, so they can see your
Like,
wife's underwear.
Sometimes I feel like that thing doesn't do anything, and it's literally just goes whoosh. It's like a ride.
Mm-hmm.
There was one time I had like a front
You know what I mean?
pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was like a front pocket in my short. It was like a stash pocket for music festivals and things.
Yeah.
And I had like a handful of like loose change in there and like a napkin. So it wasn't dangling and I didn't know it was in there. And I go through the thing and he's like, what's flashing right there? And I literally just said my dick. And he laughed and he said, I know that's not true. Can we check real quick? But that's funny. And I checked and I literally checked myself and I was like, oh, it's coins. And I didn't take them out. And he was like, all right, that's funny. You good?
What festivals have you been to?
I've been to, I really like the low key ones, more of the jam bands ones. Right now I'm on like a big reggae festival wave.
Nice.
So Weekend at Wolfie's.
Going the way of Chet Hanks.
Yeah. Weekend at Wolfie's is my favorite right now. Bumpin' Uglies produces that.
Mm-hmm.
And then Reggae Rise Up is amazing. I love St. Pete. Reggae Rise Up's good. My favorite music festival of all time is Halloween.
Yeah, Halloween rules.
Halloween rules, dude. And they've only been doing it for like 12 years. It's like just getting out of the fresh phase. It's become mainstream in like the last 4 or 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still really like the best experience at a festival.
It's the best because it's like, dude, the amount of time people have spent on their costumes when you're walking around, like people have some amazing costumes.
Yeah.
Like,
and everything's working for the festival to be good because it's in October. It's in Florida under trees.
Yeah.
So it's hot enough during the day to be comfortable and it's cold enough at night that you
need a hoodie.
Like you can actually like have dress options. You're not going to be sweating your ass off 24/7. You're not going to wake up in blistering heat in your tent because there's shade everywhere.
See, I've always wanted to go in the cabins. You know those cabins that you walk by? I'm always like,
so
dude.
expensive.
Dude, I know. Every
General
time-
admission is like $600 now.
Bro,
Jesus.
bro, I had a buddy that was sitting there, and he had texted me like, yo, come to this campsite. So I like show up at this campsite, and when I show up, there's all these people that are like, you got to get him out of here. I was like, what? So, dude, I couldn't get my friend out. Like, he had done ketamine, and he was a bigger dude, and I could not get him out of this campsite, and he was not welcome anymore.
You're
so
like, well, we're going to have to ride this wave together, guys.
That's
dude,
funny.
I know. I was like, well, I mean,
We'll be out as soon as he's out of it. You know?
Yeah, I was like, well, we're going to have to chill. And then they ended up, they're like, hold up, we'll call our friend. So they called this dude that had a golf cart, and we had to, like, load my buddy in a golf cart. But then afterwards, I, like, dropped my friend off, and he's like, well, what are you about to do? And I was like, I don't know. He's like, you want to just ride around? I was like, yeah, dude. So me and this dude just rode around in this golf cart and smoked. And I was like, next time I go to Halloween, I'm renting a golf cart.
Oh, yeah. Golf cart at Halloween is a good call.
It's
Just
the
because
best.
it's such a big campus, like the whole place.
You can go all over.
Yeah, and you become a hero. It's so easy.
Exactly. That
it's
guy
so,
saved a life that night.
It's so easy to make friends
Probably
when
a
you're
911
in charge of the golf cart.
Yeah.
It was like you can choose to be friendly or choose to just zip right by.
Yeah,
You
if,
can pick
if
up
I was
your
going to go
friends.
to that, I would have to get a golf cart.
It's like a
Yeah,
like a
for
10
sure.
mile. It's like a 10-mile like reserve.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
huge, and it's like in trail. There's trails. There's ponds. They're in the woods. Like you physically can't walk one side to the other straight through.
Yeah.
You have to loop around
You
trails
can get
and go the long way.
lost.
Oh yeah.
We had a friend of
Whoa.
ours that lost his mind at Primus and then disappeared. Like, was literally lost. His like
That's
laying
a fun
down.
T-shirt. I lost my mind
He
at
was-
Primus.
Like he was making such a scene that we didn't know it was him, but we were watching him at the show. Like, this dude's fucking
Yeah.
freaking. So then, dude, we cannot find him. We don't
He
see
was
him.
laying down in the mud. My name is Mud.
Yeah, he was mud, dude. His name was mud.
He became Mud.
So
so
we're walking back to the campsite. He just comes stumbling out of the woods, and he's just like, "Oh!" He's like, "What are y'all doing?" We're like, "Dude, we're going back to the campsite." So we're walking with him. We sit down. We're sitting around a fire, and then you watch him look around. He goes, "Oh, it's you guys." Dude, he didn't recognize us. He had been
Whoa.
lost in the woods for like 4 hours just on acid. He's like, he probably aged 10 years just wandering through the forest.
See, normally I've never aged forward on acid. I time travel
Oh,
backwards.
you Benjamin
a lot.
Button?
Oh,
Yeah. I've literally been sitting there
That's awesome.
watching the group I was like interacting with the whole time. I was like, when I met them, I was like, I feel like I know these guys.
Mm-hmm.
And then I literally started having flashbacks from past lives. And I was like, oh, we went to Woodstock together. All of us went to Woodstock together like 70 years ago. I literally saw it happening.
No,
I was like, this is insane.
no. I've seen some plants and stuff grow. I've seen some
Oh, yeah,
flowers
you've
grow. I've
watched
seen
it.
that. Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely cool.
I've seen the
Acid is
border
cool.
wall.
I went to the orchid exhibit at Atlanta Botanical Gardens on acid.
Whoa.
That was really cool. Felt like they were alive. The only thing I didn't like was
Well, they are.
well, like animals.
It's
it felt
part
like they
of
were
life.
like. It felt like I was at the zoo, like watching these little.
You were-
animals. Yeah, I was in there like.
What is a botanical garden other than a plant zoo?
You know what tripped me out though? I went there and
That's
like
true.
right after I'd eaten this acid, it was like during COVID,
Mhm.
and it was the start of COVID, and they didn't take cash, and for some reason that spun me out. I was just like, "Where are we going as a society? Like, what the fuck?" And then you had to
That's
walk
valid.
around. Yeah, you had to walk around. Everybody had masks on, and I was just tripping. I was like, "We're outdoors in
That
a
would-
garden. Like, what are we doing, dude?"
Yeah, that would freak you out.
Yeah. It was freaking me out. I connected with this girl that was in front of me because she took her mask off, and her friends were like, "Put your mask on." She goes, "Fuck it, dude. I'll die. I'm so hot." It was during the summer, and I was like, I'm on her side. It was crazy because that was the start of it. That was like when you really didn't know where that was going.
Yeah. I
Tough time to eat acid out in public.
kind of
I didn't really think it
That
through.
was, that was a risky
and
move
I
from
went
the
with
beginning.
somebody that I was like, "Do you want to hit?" And they were like, "No."
Why would I do
Why
that
would
right
you
now?
do that? Yeah, I ended up with me sitting at the Vortex staring at lacrosse on the TV and just being like, God, they're just beating the shit out of each other with sticks.
I love watching lacrosse.
Yeah,
It's so
it's
much more
crazy.
fun than hockey because it's so much easier to control. Like,
Land hockey.
And-
But
yeah.
hockey, the whole thing is the speed. Is that these guys are slamming into each other,
you're
going
right.
fast.
But these dudes have sticks And you can't really stick check in hockey. Not really.
Yeah, you're not
They
allowed
whack
to.
each
These
other.
dudes.
You're
can-
allowed to swing your stick at people.
Yeah, the only thing you're not allowed to do is one hand, like, fling it at them. Like, if you hit below the head and not
You're
like,
good?
at their legs, you're good. Like, you can literally
okay.
check.
Torso
if you
shots.
make it look like in any capacity that you're going for the
Just goes to
stick,
Shishima
which
and
is
goes,
their
"Ah!"
entire center mast,
Yeah.
you can hit them.
Okay.
Damn, dude.
Like, you just can't do one-hand swings or
Dude,
whatever.
get some kidney shots in.
Yeah, you also can't do, like, baseball bat swings with it. You have to have two-hand control,
Okay.
which means, like, different hand positions on the stick.
Yeah.
My
Well, you
brother
can't-
played a lot
but
of
they can't
cross.
be together.
Yeah, correct. When you're hitting
Yeah.
someone, they
you
can't.
Yeah, you can't baseball swing it.
You can put your hands together in the middle and just run into somebody. You can do that.
Just double punch.
Yeah.
God, what a weird time that was. I was just thinking about, Atlanta Botanical, walking around.
Shout out Atlanta Botanical.
That's a great place to trip, too, though.
I'll write it down.
Yeah. Where's the wildest place you've ever done psychedelics?
Oh, dude, my college dorm room.
Yeah.
What a mistake.
No doubt.
What a mistake.
Everybody made that mistake.
Dude, the last 5 or 6 times I did it at my college dorm room, it was frame for frame the exact same thing. And it freaked me out so bad the first time. I was horrified, but I was like, I need to figure out what that means. And I literally would time travel to the exact same moment. This is the one time I future traveled,
A
but it was still
classic loop.
It was still recent. I just thought I was losing my mind because it felt like it was the same day.
Kind of are.
I fast traveled like 3 years into the future, and I got more and more of the scene every time. And then the last time, it all played out live.
Yeah.
And
I've-
so I was calm. The entire
Yeah.
time I was freaking out in the scene because I didn't know what was happening or what the context was, but it was scary. It was not a fun scene to be in without context.
Yeah.
And then I got there and I was like, okay, I'm glad I have the 7 trips of context to know what's going on right now. I'm still sad, but this is
Yeah.
going to be good for me.
Yeah, I think everybody's had an uncomfortable psychedelic experience in a dorm room where it's like some cheesy lights. There's some sort of like alcohol bottles everywhere. You know,
Man, thank
Yeah.
God I never lived in a dorm.
It's like, honestly, the last time I like super tripped, it was
That's
pretty
Is
recently.
that a technical term?
yeah,
super trip.
super trip. I can say
It
all
sounds
my
like
trips,
a funk song.
all my trips are like super heady.
Love that Primus
Like
album.
if I have any visuals at all, I'm not getting to the headspace I was trying to get at. Dude, this music festival was weekend at Wolfie's. I was introduced to God through the voice of a singer.
Okay.
I was showed.
Introduce like Holden. This is God. God. This is Holden.
Yes, I was.
Been
I was
there,
given,
brother.
dude. I was given the. I equate it to the Illuminati pep talk. It wasn't Illuminati, but it was like, hey, this is how the world works.
Oh, you were going deep.
Here's the type of decisions you want to make. I want to feel out. What would you think about this decision? And I was like, I could tolerate that.
Wait,
and
they
then
gave you a
I'd move
qui-
up.
They gave you a pop quiz.
Dude, it was literally a cut. It was an
Dude,
interactive cutscene.
You got introduced to
Every
God.
decision I made, I would make the decisions non-verbally, and then I would move up or down the rung.
You
I was
played a
getting
lot of
closer
video
to the rail
games.
or further to the rail based on my decisions. So I'm roughly 4 decisions
Yeah,
away
you're
from
side
blowing up.
questing.
That's what
Yeah.
I found out.
Okay.
And these 4 decisions are going to be tough. I'm not going to say what it was asking me to agree to.
Murder.
I said no to that one.
Gas station robbery.
I said no to murder. I said no to like
Do-
weird kid. Truthfully,
Do not take your
I
pants
was
off.
I was given like an Illuminati pep talk. It was like, hey, if you make these decisions, you can go further in life. You don't have to make the decisions. It's gonna take longer.
Did you maybe not go to a music festival and were kidnapped and programmed by the CIA?
Yeah, this sounds like MK Ultra.
No, I just think I had the best mushroom tea I've ever had.
You're like, I'm not going to Butler, PA. No, thank you.
It was actually in Bedford, PA.
Oh, damn. So, all right, let's get into it. Did you bring a story for us?
I did. It's actually funny we've been talking about music festivals
Oh,
so much.
nice.
It's a music festival story.
Perfect.
So
I feel like I could have guessed
I'll give you
that.
the gist of it and then run through it. I essentially got kicked out of a music festival
Oh.
and then became the guest of the Grateful Dead and brought back into the festival.
Okay. Nice.
So I was at, long story short, my dad is kind of a hippie guru.
Mm-hmm.
He's
Nice.
he's world renowned at festivals. If he shows up anywhere, people know who he is.
Whoa.
He's a landmark. And I've been going to music fest. I don't remember my first concert because literally the first 700 of them, I was a baby.
Yeah.
Whoa.
That's
so
awesome.
We were at the Allgood Festival.
Love
Like
that.
you're the
And-
kind of baby where like nobody was afraid of you getting dropped. People were afraid of spilling acid
Yeah,
on
yeah,
you.
yeah. This is the baby that you're like smoking
Oh,
next
yeah.
to at a
And
concert.
also-
You're like, where's that kid gonna end up?
A little bit of context. This was when I was it was 2010.
Mm-hmm.
I was 11 or 12. And at that time, I
God,
was
I'm old.
270 pounds, which for context is
Jesus.
about 100 pounds more than I am right now.
Dude, I am not a skinny man, and I'm about 200 pounds.
Whoa, at 11?
Yes.
Whoa, and at
so
11.
Jesus.
Were
I
you
was-
a tall kid at least?
yeah, I've been 6'2" since I
Okay.
was
All right.
That helps.
I was 6'2" since I was like very young, like middle school. I popped, and I've been the same height. So we were there, and I
I was
start.
popping off in middle school too.
We weren't
Well,
working this
different.
festival, but we were camping with the people that were. The day before, a 50-foot retractable flagpole got confiscated, and it was from some kids.
Oh, so you
And
took it.
And so we took it because they
Yeah.
brought it back to the campsite, obviously.
Yeah,
and it's like,
obviously.
if you guys sneak it in, worst case, we'll take it back and we'll bring it back to the camp tomorrow.
Yeah.
So we sneak it in. We have this giant flag, and the way it is, retractable 50-foot, so it's not so heavy. It's bendy as shit. So if you go like this, it's
Yeah.
almost touching the ground. If you go like that, it's almost touching the ground. So you're just going like this the whole time. And my brother's standing behind me, and I'm playing with a green laser pointer,
And you
shining it
stabbed
at
the
him.
kid in the eye.
And I, genuinely speaking, I was so fat I got kicked out. I was playing. We were doing two things that aren't allowed. We had a 50-foot totem, and we also had green laser pointers at a
Yeah.
Grateful Dead
Yeah.
concert.
They
You're the
hate
Both
heaviest
of which
person
big
here.
bugaboos.
Yeah.
But being the only 700, no, not 700, the only 300-pound 12-year-old, they saw me instantly, and they run at me. So I'm trying to block I thought they're going for the flagpole.
Which
So I
is-
kind of body block, and then I realize I get swarmed by 4 dudes, and I was like, oh, they were going for the laser pointer the whole time.
Yeah.
And I just see him, he catches it, and he thought they were going for the flagpole, so he's just like wiggling them through the crowd like this. It was like, I need to get away. I get swarmed
He's
by 4
running
dudes.
with the 50-foot flagpole.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I got to get out of here.
Yeah.
It's also like thinking you're going to get away with a laser pointer is crazy because it's like
Well, they were
see
selling
you
laser pointers there.
immediately.
What?
They were
That's-
selling
that's
laser
not
pointers
fair.
there. They had a vendor
they
selling
were
them,
setting you up.
but he was telling people not to use them. That's how he got away with it.
Get the
But he was also
fuck outta here.
we were also selling laser pointers because the year
Oh,
before we
little
went
black
there,
market.
I went to go buy one, and it was like, yeah, buddy, I got you $80, and I was like, nope. Next year, I bought 100 of them for $5
Mm-hmm.
on Amazon, and we were selling them for 60. But we were also haggling because
Yeah.
we would get them down to 20 if people
You know
were
what
falling.
else
We're
you
kids.
could- you know what else
If they
you
were
could
nice
make
to
a
kids, we would
living
give them a
on?
good deal.
You could get those little light up things like the swords and all that
Yep.
shit that
was
you
my-
have at like
that's how I
laser
made money
shows.
as a kid.
Yeah.
Until I got a gambling problem. But anyway, we would make money getting all these laser things, and we were on the pointers. I get swarmed by 4 dudes,
We were
and
on
they
the
start
pointers.
arguing about who gets the credit for kicking me out because they know the
Hilarious.
Grateful Dead, or they were under the name Further at this point.
Yes.
They knew they were next, and they were gonna get some stage crew clout for kicking out someone with a laser
Isn't
pointer.
that crazy that they just get off to that? They
I
get
s-
off to kicking you out for a
Power.
laser point.
They're
Just
lit-
walk up and go, hey, put it in your pocket. Just quit doing that.
And it was the funniest argument because I'm sober. I'm just a kid at a music festival.
You're
These
12.
guys are, some of them are spun, some of them are hammered. They're arguing their ass off, and then one of them goes, "No, guys, I was the mastermind. I told you guys to swarm that way. I get the credit."
I was the mastermind.
mastermind.
of
That's what's
the
wrong.
of the
Yeah.
Grateful Dead
And
show.
he starts
buzz.
funneling
The
us out.
security guard.
He drops us.
Fucking
He drops me.
loser.
I say us because my brother gave the flagpole to someone else, and he follows me in. They're so excited to kick me out. They don't even notice that my brother snuck in backstage and is following us the entire time.
With the 50-foot flag.
No, he handed it off.
Yeah, that's something you're not going to lose easy.
They before we even talk to anybody, they
can
cut
set
off my
that
wristband, take the laser pointer, literally walk me about a quarter mile
Oof,
to a
that-
dirt road in the mountains and just leave me.
The
I'm
moment-
12, no phone.
The moment they cut your wristband is tragic, dude.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
seen it happen at Bonnaroo. It is just the finality of just.
Yeah,
Oh,
I feel like you missed leaving a fat 12-year-old
Yeah.
on a dirt
Side,
road.
I was getting to it.
Yeah.
I was a quarter mile from the venue on a dirt road in the mountains. Even if I had a phone, this was 2010. Like they would have
They're
been
like, waddle
wouldn't have
your way
worked.
back, bitch.
So I just
that boy belongs to old Jeffy now.
I'm just like, well, I guess this road goes somewhere. I'll just start following it.
That's the
And
worst
you're in
thing.
West
I know,
Virginia.
I know,
You're in
I know.
West Virginia, so it's ding,
But
ding,
I had
ding,
no,
ding, ding.
I know, I had no, I
That's
was
a pretty
so lost with it. I
round
was like, I
bottom.
knew I'd get out of it, but I didn't know how. So I was like,
You squeal like a pea.
Damn boy, you thick.
Digging in a bowl of
I've been
peanut
going to
butter.
this festival since I was literally like unconscious, and I've been going, and I've remembered it since I was like 5. So I know the layout of the mountain pretty well. I know if I just
Yeah.
wrap around enough, I'll eventually hit camping.
Yeah, you're
and I'll
like,
be
that's
good there.
pedophile peak. I just got to steer clear of there.
So I get maybe 10 minutes into my walk, I start seeing some lights one way. I was
Yeah.
like, all right, I'm going the right way. And then a golf
Also-
cart just comes over the hill, and my
Yeah.
dad stole a golf cart
Nice.
and a worker. There was a worker who was working.
kidnapped
Well, wait a
somehow
minute,
found
wait a
out
minute, dude.
A
He
stage
pulls up.
rigger.
He's like, "Son, we gotta get out of here."
No, he literally said, he grabbed this guy and he said, hey, I'm taking the golf cart. You're coming with me.
Mm-hmm.
He finds me somehow, picks me up. He drops me off at the campsite, takes the golf cart to go talk to someone higher up with that guy. And then eventually he comes back and he was like, hey, I got you a guest pass. It's okay. I'm sorry you're all shooken up. We'll get you back in. So now I'm in the
Man.
pit. And
Man.
the dude who kicked me out,
and a walk would have been good for you.
the dude who, yeah,
This guy was doing you a favor, bro.
I know. I've been
He
eating
was
fried.
like, "Hey."
I was eating fried Twinkies for the past month.
He's like, "Dude, I'm dropping." You were literally like right outside the gate. Just 2 steps. Dad's kidnapped somebody. Pulls up.
For
they're
real.
like-
He literally kidnapped him. I still don't know where he found this guy. I should probably ask him.
Yeah.
We get to a ticketing booth. He gives me a guest pass. I'm in the pit, and I see the guy who kicked me out, and he's just sweating bullets in the corner.
yeah.
And they're doing like their instrument check, and the guy testing the main microphone sees me in the pit, doesn't know who I am, but again, I'm the only 300-pound 12-year-old. He knows the story that guy got kicked out, so he comes up to me. He's like, hey, we're so sorry that happened. We know who you guys are. I don't know how they didn't. We're going to get him. Do you know who it was? It was like, there was actually like 4 or 5 of them. That motherfucker
Yeah.
was the mastermind.
That
And
guy
I
right
swear-
there, mastermind.
Well, if
I
you're looking
swear.
for them, I can lay out their whole their whole criminal organization. I can lay it out for you on a
And
board.
Literally, dude goes like this. He was like, really? Hops off the stage, just goes like this. A swarm of 5 guys go with him and just go talk to him.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Then the show happens. Nothing eventful happens.
So that guy was the mastermind of that invasion.
Yeah. The next day is when it gets crazier, because the Grateful Dead. My dad was guest of the Grateful Dead.
Yeah.
He hasn't paid to go to a festival for like stuff like that in years.
Nice.
And this was 2010. So they hear about this.
Is your dad seeing him at the
Yeah.
Sphere?
No, he hasn't. He actually hasn't been to Vegas since the Sphere's been a thing. I'm sure he could. Like, he has he's divinely protected. Like, if he goes to a
be awesome.
concert, he's getting a miracle or he's on the guest list.
Like he's high fived John Mayer before.
Yes. Like,
Dude.
so much so, my dad actually, when he worked for the Smithsonian, he was personal friends with Mickey Hart, the drummer.
Yeah.
Because he could easily acquire foreign instruments and drums that have weird import laws. So he would just do that for him because he loved collecting
They do
drums.
a whole section of the show, Trent, where they do drums and the 2 drummers play, and they just play like instruments from fucking different parts of the
Yeah.
world, and it's called Drum in Space, and they get so trippy, and it's
It's
just
the
for
best.
people tripping. It's literally they go
Drums is the
so
best
deep.
at any show.
They go
Yeah.
so deep, where you're just like you're just supposed to. It's not. You don't dance. You don't. You just sit and go deep.
But that was the last day of the festival. We hadn't loaded out yet because we're
Yeah.
just hanging out. He was like, hey, Mickey Hart wants to talk to you. He wants
Oh,
to
that's
apologize and say hi.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, cool, whatever. I was literally on my Game Boy. I was like, all right, I was getting ready to go. We had packed up the camp, and he was like,
Eating
all right, fine,
snacks.
whatever. We can go talk to Mickey Hart.
Whatever.
Whatever.
Might as well.
I definitely didn't
A little
appreciate it as much as
Cheeto
I should have at the
fingers.
time. And then we get there, and he was like, I'm so sorry those motherfuckers fucked with you. Everyone sees someone winning, and they just want to step in your lane and ruin it.
and you're just like, I'm 12.
And it, literally, it was like playing on my phone. It's starting to drizzle a little bit. I'm like, when are we leaving? This is a weird high.
Yeah.
And then he was like, I've been living with that my whole life. You want to know something crazy, kid? Back when we first formed, our second ever road gig was Woodstock. It wasn't the original one. It was the second Woodstock. Their first ever music festival,
Yeah.
like on that caliber. And he's telling me it was the most electric weekend anyone had ever had. And then we go up to perform. And 3 seconds into it, I can tell it's going to be the worst bomb of our life. Mm-hmm. Like Jerry Garcia literally turned to him, literally telling him to power through, guys. We're going to get through this.
Yep.
And then after the show, he said they considered quitting music entirely because the bands or the crowd that was there was just, they didn't fuck with them. It was like, this isn't our music. We want to listen to our music because they're an opener. They're nobody.
Yeah.
They're the Grateful Dead before anything. Mm-hmm. And then Jerry Garcia rallied and was like, you know what, guys? We can either stop tomorrow or use this to fuel forever.
Yeah. Yeah, they bombed Woodstock.
They literally bombed Woodstock.
Documentaries.
And I'm on my games. I'm on my Game Boy thinking, it was like, dude, you're bombing this conversation. I want to go home.
That's crazy.
And I've taken that. In hindsight, at the time, I didn't register how cool that was for probably 15 years after that. Mm-hmm. And then it came up randomly. I was like, oh, my God. No one has ever heard that story before.
Yeah.
I've scoured the internet probably at least 20 hours throughout my whole life. I've never heard anything equivalent to that story being told. And he told it to me personally as a kid. Mm-hmm. And it just powered me through so much of my life after I became conscious of what it actually meant. Mm-hmm. So, and the funnest part about all that, Mickey Hart is renowned for being a dick, especially to fans.
So what you're saying is that story not only pushed the Grateful Dead to excel, but it has pushed you to this point?
Right? Exactly. I'm the Grateful Dead of comedy.
You're backed by the CIA?
My Woodstock has been everything up until this moment, and I carried it forward.
If this is your Woodstock moment.
Bombing at Woodstock would be terrible.
Oh, dude. Yeah. And it was the most hype Woodstock. It was like the first one.
It was right after the good one.
Woodstock 2 was renowned as being the worst one. Like, just because it rained, it was muddy. No one was happy for anyone other than the headliners.
Grateful Dead sucked.
But as a like all the performers there, they didn't watch the openers. They watched the people at the festivals. And then it was their turn to open. Apparently that happened to a lot of people that festival. Because he was saying there was a handful of people that said the similar thing happened to them. But none of the bands saw it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because you're going to watch your friend. If you're an artist, you're going to watch your friends at a festival. Or you're going to be chilling with your friends. And then you're going to watch the main sets. Yeah. You're not going to be doing the music festival thing the whole time. Like, you have a trailer. You have actual accommodations. You're going to leave the venue every now and again. Like, no one knew how bad it was until they got up on stage, especially the Grateful Dead.
Yeah. I mean, dude, people look at Woodstock with rose-colored glasses. It was a fucking nightmare. People didn't have fucking food. There was no bathrooms.
Oh, yeah, they didn't have free water. Yeah. They didn't have water service.
I follow this dude on Instagram that's, like, leveled a, war against venues that don't offer free water.
Yeah, and they literally had bans.
That's good.
Like, calls them out, and then just, like, they just attack the page. But it's ridiculous to have a venue, bring in thousands of people, and then charge like $5 for a bottle of water and have no other option. Mm-hmm. It's like, bro, that's irresponsible.
Oh, yeah, we do that at the Punchline right now. Bottles of water are $4.
That's rough, bro.
Hey, that's a deal.
But it's a 2-item minimum, and that's the cheapest way to do it.
You know what you can do?
We'll give you tap water after that.
This is a good... Steve taught me this trick. If you're ever at a festival or a concert and you have somebody with you that's a lady, and you need water and you don't have any money, you can go over to the medical tent. Have the person that you know that's a lady go sit down, walk over to the medical tent, and you tell them, hey, my fiance right over there, she's pregnant, and she needs water, and I lost my wallet. Dude, they'll bust out waters. They don't pay for those waters. They'll hand you like 3 bottles. It works every time. It's a great hack to shows.
Oh, yeah.
It's like... it drives me crazy to have like an outdoor festival. One time at Bonnaroo, the guy tried to make me dump my camel pack out. He was like, you can't have a Camelback. I was like, it's 99 degrees. I was like, you're out of your fucking mind. I was like, if that's the case, I'm getting out of this line. I'm going to another line.
What year was it?
To be fair, it was full of vodka.
That was like 2000, I think, and 12.
Okay, yeah. So water stations weren't like mandatory at that point at festivals, and even if they were, they'd refill them like once a festival.
It wasn't liquid IV at the time; it was something else. It was like a hydration pack. Right. But he was like, "You can't have whatever this is in there." So me and this dude are arguing because like I'm like in his face, like, "Dude, if you dump my Camelback out, I'm gonna fight you." Like I'm so hot. And one of the dudes behind him was like, "What is going on?" I was like, "Bro, he wants to dump my Camelback out," and he just looked at the guy and he goes, "What are you doing? What is the end game?" The guy was like, all right, you could go through. It was just like, dude, people get like where they're just so They just want. I mean, the guy.
rules. Yeah.
Yeah, something similar happened to me, but he was totally in the right the whole time. so it wasn't with water.
So it's not that
It was
similar.
we were loading into a festival the day before it started, and if you don't know, security the day before
You just got
is
a bag
much
of
more.
You have a bag of ketamine
Because-
and you're dressed as a horse. You're
No,
like, what?
everyone's on standby, so they're either on security duty or just hanging out on security duty.
Yeah, there's nothing going on. You get pinpointed.
And we load in with vendor passes. We were like selling clothes at this point. We upgraded and also the light up stuff, but mostly clothes because there's a better margin.
Yeah.
And we load in with our vendor credentials, and it was like, we're going to have to search that bag. And it was like, why? We're loading in a camper.
That bag?
Why do you need to search the one backpack I'm wearing?
You're
Like that doesn't
fuck.
make like we weren't arguing because we thought there was anything in the bag. There was. We didn't know there was. We were arguing because it didn't make sense.
Yeah, that's
It
where
was
you
like,
hit him with the timeout.
I'm
Timeout.
checking
Let me
in.
go back to my
So if I
campsite real
didn't
quick.
check in with this backpack on, you wouldn't have to check it. You're not going to check the camper. You're not going to check anything
Yeah.
else. He opens it. In the bottom, there's about 4 or 5 boxes of chargers, of nitrous chargers.
Yeah, whip it.
And the dude,
Which aren't illegal.
the whole time on the checkpoint, the dude's watching Family Guy on his phone, just staring at it. He was like, oh, yeah, you guys definitely can't bring these in. Just looking back at Family Guy. And it was like, no, I mean, I'll be real with you, dude. I'm pretty sure we can because
Yeah.
there's no confiscation detail
How
on
am I going
vendors.
to put whipped cream on these pastries?
I was like, this is his house. Like, he lives in this full time.
Yeah.
I was like, you just can't take those. And we have just keep bitching. He's just looking at Family Guy the whole time. And a different person would walk up because we're not leaving every time. It was like, hey, what's the deal? It was like, he's trying to get chargers in. And he was like, oh, yeah, you can't do that. And he'd leave. 5 minutes later, someone else would come in. We weren't letting it go. We were just trying to figure it out. Another guy would come up. And eventually someone in charge of food came up. And he was like, I saw it because he had food vendor. We just had a vendor pass, but he didn't really notice. And he was like, wait, so you guys are vendors? What's the problem? And it was like, oh, yeah. He's about to take our chargers. It was like, we're not going to be able to, we do crepes. We're a clothes vendor. It was like, we're not going to make our crepes. How are we going to get our whipped cream? And it's, in hindsight, that's a bad lie because this is enough chargers to fund a restaurant for their whole career.
Yeah.
But he was like, we have the heavy whipping cream in the fridge. It's going to go to waste. We're here for the whole week, guys. We're going to lose that inventory, and people are going to have whipped cream on their crepes. And he was like, he literally turns to the guy watching Family Guy. I was like, dude, don't tell me you don't fucking love crepes. Let him in. What are you doing? And then he literally pauses his Family Guy, looks at me, looks at the chargers, and was like, all right, fine. You guys can go in.
Yeah.
But I'm going to get one of those crepes. So you had to like whip up crepes.
That's what I was
You
thinking.
wanna know
You're
something fun
making
about that?
crepes on the fly.
I
You're
only
like,
saw that staff member once throughout the festival, and he was in a K-hole.
Jesus.
Couldn't recognize me if he tried.
Dude, I watched somebody in a K-hole try to go through security with a bag of ketamine and a bicycle. And they were just like, dude, what are you doing? Like, he was doing bumps in the line and then just put it in his shirt pocket and they were trying to go through with a bicycle. And the guy's like, I've been watching you. Like, dude,
We don't even need cameras to know.
no, he's like, dude, you're not invisible. Like, I see you. Just sitting in line. I was like 3 people in front of him. I was like, this guy's definitely getting kicked out. This guy's doing tutors.
I've
in the
gone through a
security
bag
line.
checkpoint unconscious of how my bag had shifted around. Oh, he was like, you got anything in your bag? And I was like, just my stuff getting ready to party, like as a joke. And then he opens it. There's just a clear bag of mushrooms right on top.
Jesus.
He looks in it. He's just like, closes the drawstring. Was like, you're good. You know, I was like, appreciate you.
We used to send a guy that would go with us to Hangout Festival. He was tatted up, whole face tattoos. He was like a tattoo artist. Totally sober. Been sober for like 10 years. But every time he would go through security, they would fuck with him so
Oh,
hard.
yeah,
Because
that's
he
a
just
profile.
looks the part. So I would get behind him. And I would just walk in because nobody gives a shit. They're
Yeah.
just
No one gives a shit about the second
they're
guy.
harassing this poor guy. And I'm just like, sorry. Because Hangout Festival is really hard to get stuff in because you're in a bathing suit.
Yeah, if
So
that's
you don't
Alabama,
realize
right?
You're like, fuck. Yeah, it's in Alabama too. So there's big old state troopers that are sitting there. I sketched out one time. I got out of line and just ran. Like they were all
Yeah.
looking at me and I was like, no.
And walking on the beach tires you out much faster than walking on like solid or dirt ground.
Oh, yeah. And that sand gets fucking disgusting because you
Oh,
see
yeah, I
people at the
bet.
night shows just.
bet.
Oh,
Dude, I watch girls pull their dress up and squat down like a cat and just pee. And it's at the night show. So people are just pissing, people throwing
and
up.
and then literally like a cat kicking sand on top of it.
Yeah, just covering the sand. And then the next day, you're like looking around. You're like, I'm in a goddamn litter box.
Yes.
I'm in a fucking litter box. This is disgusting.
I can one up that.
Every time you step in a spot and you're like, that felt a little wet.
Oh, dude, I wore tennis shoes. The next day, I showed
Yeah.
up with tennis shoes on the beach. I was like, get the fuck out of here.
Have
with
you
that
guys
shit.
ever been to Camp Bisco or Peach Fest?
I've
No.
never been to a festival.
Oh,
No,
what?
no,
I'll
no.
take you to one. There's
I
so
hate
much
the
fun.
disco
Keegan's been
biscuits.
saying he's gonna.
You don't
but
like
he
disco
can't.
biscuits?
Dude, I do not like the disco
I-
biscuits.
That's fair, but everyone else they'll book around them is also amazing, and they have an amphitheater
If
stage
they-
there.
When they sing is when I'm out of it. When they're
That's-
jamming, I'm into it. But when the dude starts singing, it takes me out of it completely.
Holden, let me know one, and I'll
Definitely.
let you know if I'm
Shoot.
interested.
Reggae Rise Up is the best entry level festival.
I don't want to do reggae for
Dude,
my first
it's
one.
different reggae.
It's super fun, though.
It's different reggae
It is
because
fun.
reggae is
super
now
fun.
something completely different than it is.
It is
Like
so
they'll
fun.
have Sublime with Rome headlining, sure. They'll have like,
Embrace your
Revolution.
inner blacklight, dude.
but 90% of reggae now is East Coast reggae, which is a blend of ska, punk, funk, rap, and reggae.
It's like if somebody gave a ska band those snickerdoodles. That's what.
Yeah.
Just slow it down.
okay.
You
It's-
gotta fucking
And everyone there
slightly stupid.
is
They rule.
the highest vibe individual you can conceptualize. Because a lot of the festivals now are so mainstream. There's influencers. There's Valley chicks.
All right, where's
There's
this
just-
thing at?
There's just money people.
St. Pete, right?
It's in St. Pete. Yeah.
yeah, it's beautiful.
Love it.
You got reggae is always by the water.
The
Wow.
one downside about it is it's not a camping festival, which adds to the atmosphere of a festival.
better.
Man,
but it's still fun.
I don't want to camp for a festival.
Nah,
That-
dude.
All right, then this is the perfect one.
Being able to shower at a festival is next level. When
I
you're
agree.
not stinky and terrible.
I agree. Oh, but that goes into the point. The reason I brought up Camp Bisco is their festival is at a ski resort / water park. It's a ski resort
What?
during the winter and a water park during the summer. And the water park is open for the festival. That water is so beautiful that first day when you're loading in.
Oh, I bet it gets
12 minutes
musty,
into the one of the
dude.
dude, the darkest brown wave pool you've ever seen.
People just
You're-
shitting themselves in the lazy river.
There's a lazy river, a wave pool. The only things they had open was a lazy river, a wave pool, and the tornado.
They call that the ketamine river.
The tornado
No, that's
funneled into the wave
tornado.
pool,
They
and it
call the
literally looks like
tornado
you're
the-
going down a toilet.
They call the tornado the K-hole.
Dude, obviously that would definitely be what you had to do. If they have, I mean, that water is probably disgusting.
We had like a good 12 hours to ourselves because we loaded in as
Mm-hmm.
a vendor for this one too. So we had it when there was only like 100 people in this whole venue, and most of them weren't doing the water park shit.
Yeah.
All right, Holden, when is this fucking thing?
Which one, Camp Bisco?
Sure, whatever one we're talking about.
Reggae Rise Up, the one that I think you would enjoy the most, is probably I think that one's March.
Okay.
Last time I went to a water park, bro,
Let
I
me
got
know when it's ticket
athlete's
time.
foot.
Yeah, they do 3 of them. They do one in Vegas, one in Baltimore, and then one in St. Pete. I've only ever been to the Baltimore and St. Pete one. The St. Pete one's just a better vibe.
Yeah, fuck
it's
Baltimore.
beautiful. It's not in Baltimore. It's right outside.
Baltimore doesn't feel like a reggae
No,
town.
that's what I'm
No,
saying. That's,
I mean
no.
it's on the water in Baltimore, but it's still
It's like the fucking wire out there. It's
Yeah.
ugly.
Yeah.
I've been to Baltimore. That's
dude.
ugly water.
I went to Baltimore recently. It's so much worse.
Dude, it's bad.
It's not good.
So
Baltimore's
much worse.
bad. And everybody is
I mean, and
mean.
there's one less bridge now.
Like I've never
People are fucking rude there,
I've
dude.
never advocated for gentrification, but something's got to happen in Baltimore.
Dude, Baltimore and the weather fucking sucks. We went there
Yeah.
and it was just sleeting, cold rain. I was like,
Yeah.
no wonder
Nice.
everybody's an asshole in this city, dude. It just seems like I don't know.
I've
yeah,
only
you drive
driven
around Baltimore,
through.
it's like St. Louis is bad too, dude.
I'll do. Last
St.
time I was in
St.
Baltimore,
Louis, I didn't realize how rough St. Louis was.
Yeah.
the only nice people in Baltimore are the homeless people, and I have a theory. It's because weed became legal recently. So the homeless people used to sell weed. Now they sell mushrooms. So they're just higher vibe homeless people now.
Whoa.
No, that might have some fallout.
Well, there's more fights, but they also will. Once someone wins, they're not gonna keep fighting. Like if someone falls, fight's over, and it's like, all right, you were right. This can be your corner, and then they just mosey off.
That's
But
Be out there
I
fucking
wrote
ripping
in.
people's hearts out and shit.
This was actually
it's like gangs of New York and Baltimore.
this is after that hurricane flight story I was telling you. And so I got to rent a car once I landed. The lights weren't automatic. I didn't know that. I rode in during the day. And at night, the lights wouldn't turn on. And everyone is sussing me out and flashing guns at me because 90% of the neighborhoods are gang neighborhoods. And I'm rolling through slow looking for my turn without lights on.
Oh, Jesus.
And a homeless person
just
rides
think you're
down
the
on a
cops.
bike.
You're like, wow, everybody's fucking
Yeah,
combative here.
yeah. And I drive by a homeless woman riding a bike with her elbows, and she was eating a bag of mushrooms. And she
Sick.
stops
Christ.
eating them and says, "Turn your lights on, honey. You about to go to jail." And that's the
what a
nicest interaction I've ever had with a
that's
homeless
insane,
woman.
dude.
She wasn't even stop. She didn't stop. She drove past me, and I heard it whiz behind me.
Nah, that's a savior. That's an angel because you will go to jail. I hate when I see somebody.
Oh,
without
yeah,
the
I had
lights
weed on
I'm
me.
always like, dude, turn
I
it
had
on.
the license plate was Indiana. It was a rental car. I had weed on me.
Oh yeah, out of state tags, you're going to jail. I stopped somebody in Marietta the other day driving the wrong way, and I watched them fucking leave McCracken's, and I was just like, no, like saving a DUI. I was like, geez, it's because it was closed down. You know how the square was closed down for Labor Day? Yeah,
Yeah, it's still closed down tonight.
Yeah, they were trying to go the wrong way.
Speaking of which, is McCracken's on? Do you guys know?
I don't know. I have been kind of trying to
it's
figure
Mello's
it out.
birthday. So
It
happy
is also
birthday,
Mello's
Mello.
birthday.
Yeah,
Happy birthday,
Mello
Mello
Billy
Black.
Willig too, bro.
Running one of the most consistent and fun Monday rooms in the city.
Absolutely.
Johnny McCracken's.
Are you going to be there tonight, Holden?
I will if I can. If it's happening, I'll be there. I'm hosting Ship and Anchor tonight too, so come through to that if there's not. I mean,
Nice.
it's late, but
Are you gonna see Seven Fest?
I was supposed to go
Next
with
week.
I was supposed
Next
to go
week.
with Seven on Seven Fest.
I might have got a pass to come to it.
Go, please go, please go because
We
I
might be
can't
on
anymore, and I feel horrible
Well,
about it.
not for the whole thing, but
No,
Just
for
for
the
the opening.
McCracken's opening night.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah.
I was supposed to go on the bus with them, and now my schedule, I can't.
Yeah.
yeah.
Going on the bus might be tough, but I am gonna, I think, come for the kickoff party just to be there.
Oh, yeah,
Support
absolutely.
Seven. Seven's such a cool dude.
Seven's
I'm
amazing. I love that dude.
I'm podcasting from
I know. I saw that. That's awesome.
He came through to Punchline last night, and I was hosting, and it broke my heart that he didn't get up.
it. Aw.
Nah, I hate that.
I got him up the week before when I wasn't hosting, but sneakily, apparently Marcy has some beef with Seven. Not beef, but like the first time
She doesn't love him.
yeah,
Yeah.
like she'll acknowledge he's funny, but she's told him to his face and was like, "I don't think your style is gonna go anywhere," which
I mean,
that's not
Sam,
that's
I mean,
not
that's-
why
what are we
Seven does
talking
this.
about?
Seven
You know
does
what
this
I'm
for the
saying?
love of it, and
That's
Seven.
her opinion.
yeah,
I agree.
Exactly. That's like your opinion, man.
People said the same thing to Joey Diaz. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And Joey Diaz is so much more abrasive than Seven is.
You know what I think is the biggest shame about Joey Diaz is that he never got a special taped that like kind of
From his like era.
right. You
Yeah.
never because I saw him live at the old Punchline and it was crazy to see him live and how good he was and I was like, damn, he never got that like recorded. You never got to see that.
He might have a radio album in the bank somewhere.
Yeah, I think people are gonna start doing more live things just because it'll give it like a live
yeah.
aspect to the show.
Dude, I called
you know?
Netflix was going to do this like 6 years ago.
You're putting a lot of trust in some drunk dickhead's not gonna ruin it though.
Oh, dude.
You know,
Joe
You're like,
Rogan
bro,
almost
there's-
did.
There's millions of people watching. The pressure of not going. "Hey!"
Yeah,
too
you're
much.
right. You're
Well,
right.
I
If I
think
was there hammered,
They probably have.
Yeah, pussy.
I would try and make one very loud, inappropriately timed clap.
Yeah.
Someone, I mean, literally every single live special that Netflix has done, someone has shouted out at least once. And the
I bet.
comic shuts it down, and it doesn't happen again throughout it, or they'll cut it out. So
Yeah,
if
I mean,
if it
I
does.
feel you can feel that pull though when you're somewhere. It's like I watched a band one time and they were like, "We're gonna have a moment on stage," and it was like a bluegrass band, and they all stood around one microphone, and they're like, "It'll pick up any noise," and it was like a beautiful moment, and they're playing. You just hear this guy in the back. He goes, "Hell yeah!" You're like, he couldn't stand it, dude. He couldn't
He
stand
had
it.
to, yeah.
We all felt the pull, and we just fought those intrusive thoughts.
It's like
So
laughing
funny.
at church, where like once it starts,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you can't hold it out.
Dude, my favorite
Yeah, like
is
yelling "woo" at a concert. Once you open that floodgate, it feels so good. You just,
my favorite crowd ad lib
That's a
is
specific kind of drunk.
it always
Couple
happens in a
drinks.
wave.
White Claws for sure.
One person gets the gumption to just scream, fuck yeah, and then a wave of it just floods from the front to the back.
Yeah.
And it's so funny But once it happens once, that's the rest of the night.
Yeah.
Because everyone was like, remember how cool that was?
Yeah.
Let's do
Run
that
it back. I'll be the guy to start it this
It's
time.
also interesting. Shows in Atlanta, a lot of times they'll break out in the Braves chant, which I've always thought that's a
Which
weird.
one's the Braves chant?
The
The one that they turn the lights off at the
It's crazy.
stadium
it's
now.
like before a show, you'll be at like the set break, and then it busts out into that chant. You're like, why is this happening? Like,
Just
what is this?
excitable
Team-
white people wanting to be
pride.
included.
Yeah.
Team pride, mostly.
Yeah, I guess.
Atlanta's a very prideful city.
Yeah.
You could say that in a couple ways.
Yeah. Yeah. Atlanta is a interesting city, dude. You don't realize it until you start going to other cities.
Yeah,
You're
we're on the
Atlanta-
top end of every spectrum.
Yeah, Atlanta is a very bizarre city.
We're high on the spectrum, you might say.
Yeah.
You got anything
As
to
a
promote,
city.
man? I think we did it.
Yeah, I produce a roast show at Freedom Brew and Shine, Cumming, Georgia, every fourth Thursday. It's been a lot of fun. We run it Kill Tony style, so
Nice.
just panel messing around with people the whole time. We'll bring up audience members, mess with them. It's a lot of fun. We're working on sponsors too for giveaways, so it's gonna be come on through Freedom Brew and Shine every fourth Thursday.
Nice. I heard that place rules.
And you got a podcast.
And I have a podcast. Yeah, I'm a executive producer on the Cut and Loose podcast. You can go check us out there. We also produce live events. We'll do a comedy festival every 1 or 2 months.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So Cut and Loose, you can follow me there or follow me at Holding It Together on Instagram. But yeah, I appreciate you guys.
Great
It's been
Instagram
fun.
handle too, holding it together.
Yeah.
I know.
It's pretty good.
It's taken me 2.5 years, but I finally worked it into a bit.
Nice.
Nice.
What you got, Trent?
I am planning a trip for October, going to Vegas and Los Angeles with Patrick Logan.
Ooh.
We're gonna do as much time as we can.
I'll give you some. Are you there on the weekends?
We're there for 1 week, but
Okay.
we have our Saturday night booked. We're doing a spot at the Comedy Store late night.
I'll put you in
Nice.
contact with Cherie. It's Keenan Thompson's personal assistant. She runs a bunch of shows out of here, books them up a bunch, and at the Vegas club, they just got a residency there, so they have shows where they need comedians,
Yeah.
reputable comedians that
Yeah.
Cherie will vouch for, or people that Cherie
In-
knows will vouch for.
Which city?
Vegas.
Okay, yeah,
Jimmy
that's
Kimmel's
where
comedy.
that's where we're planning on spending most of our
Yeah,
time.
it's right on the strip. It's right under the giant.
All right.
it's
This is
amazing.
we're talking shop now.
Yeah.
Vegas.
Jimmy
Look
Kimmel's
out for
Comedy
that.
Club. Love that place.
We're gonna, huh?
Have you ever been to Vegas?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't been yet, man. I'm too
It's a
poor.
weird
I've only
place.
been once.
I'm
It's a
too
weird-
poor. I've never wanted to go if I can't, like.
I mean, go off season.
Yeah, I just.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to be able to gamble a little bit.
Or you know what's
Something.
you know what's
Like
a good way
now
to do
I'm,
it,
Like negative.
Oh yeah.
You know, I'm negative. I'm like, what? I have no money to gamble.
dude. What I did is, and we can end it after this. I was supposed to do one of the Keenan Presents comedy festivals before they got the residency in Vegas, but they said you got to get your own flight, and we'll fix you out once you're out there. And I was like, just can't afford the flight. They're $700. I'm not going to do it. I instead scheduled a week for Austin.
I can't do Frontier.
And
no way.
yeah, while I was in Austin, I was like, I just got the inkling. I was like, I wonder how much a Vegas flight is from here instead of Atlanta. And I checked it, and it was like $300. And then I checked Skip Lag. Have you guys been on the Skip Lag wave?
No.
Essentially, what it does is you go where you're at and where you want to go, and it'll book you a flight where your destination is the connecting flight. So it said I was flying to Palm Springs, but it had a connection in Vegas, and I just didn't make my connection. The flight was $100.
Whoa.
And then back to Atlanta, a one-way was literally because I did both these flights last minute, literally a day, literally 6 hours before for one of them.
Yeah.
The flight back from Vegas to Atlanta now, it was $800 on its own, $112 on Skip Lag.
Damn, that's crazy. I never
All
thought
right.
to do that.
Yeah,
I'll have to look at
the
that
problem with
today.
it
Yeah,
is,
dude. That's
if you do it too much in a year, your account will get flagged. Like if you
They
have
start
miles
noticing?
or whatever. But if you just switch airlines, like do one with Delta, do one with United, you literally get 3 per year. It's in their service where you can not miss a connection before they flag your account.
I like a loophole.
So do I, dude.
I
It's a good
love
loophole.
a loophole, especially when it
And
comes
it's
to the fucking
It's fun to
airlines.
budget. Like if I could do it every week, I'd make up excuses to do a $200 flight across the country every other weekend.
Holden's
But I'm
over here,
limited
catch me
to
if you
3.
can, dude.
All
I'm
right.
limited to 3 a year, so I really plan them out and have fun with it.
Hold up. I feel like you should stop talking about this because we're all going to be assassinated for letting
No.
the secret out.
No, dude,
Just look
I
up at
found
some
out
dude
about
with
it because
Boeing.
the trend got viral on TikTok. It's been a thing for like it's been a thing forever, but now there's a website that does it for you.
That's pretty
sick.
awesome.
So you don't have to even do the groundwork. You just pump in where you are and where you want to go, and it'll figure out the middle.
Nice. All right. We got to go.
Yep. We're up. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, guys.